COVID, that shit. It didn't beat us. We're beating it because we're still shooting. We shot season 5 under really, really weird circumstances.
With the COVID protocols, everybody had to be more focused. We had to do our own touches. We had to do our own props. And we had to expect and assume fewer takes. So it just required a greater amount of focus. You never knew if that one take was actually going to be the only take. It was very hard at the beginning to know that, you know, just on the other side of that wall in a different hallway was, say, Lauren, who's an assistant director who's been with us since season 1, but who I couldn't see until I made a special arrangement by texting her saying, "Meet me in the parking lot."
At the beginning, I remember feeling very, very frustrated by the whole process of having the kid up because we were being tested and everybody was being safe. And I remember really wanting to push back at the absurdity of having to wear a mask because I knew I didn't have COVID. Why is everybody scared? And then realizing that I was making life hell for our COVID protocol officer, Cher. And I came to, I could either keep being a jerk and just, make life hard for everybody and complain, or I could lean into being safe and following the protocols and making her life easier. And I made a decision at that time to really lean into that and to be uber cautious and to do all that. And it made a huge difference.
So the man had a bath, either pulled the lamp in or it fell in somehow. Either way, he died of electrocution, cleaned things up, and jumped out the window.
What the big deal was that there was pressure. We were going to be sort of, if not the first, one of the first shows out the gate that's going to be producing in earnest and having to employ these protocols. And so the potential for failure was there, and certainly we felt it.
Getting used to wearing the mask and the shield and having plastic all around us and having to wipe everything down in between people, it added like a good 10 minutes to every makeup that was done in my chair because I'd have to have downtime in between to clean everything. What was impossible was the shield. It totally impaired everybody's vision. We realized it very quickly that it was dangerous. Dark studio, tripping over cables, working on somebody's eyes and knowing that your vision's impaired. It's exhaustive. It is. And I understand the frontline workers do it all the time. I don't know that they get any more used to it than we ever will. It is exhausting just to remember, to make sure to sanitize, make sure your goggles are down when a mask comes off. We didn't have to wear our goggles until the actors took their masks off. And that's when we needed the protection, which is why we had to wear shields or goggles, is for our own protection to cover our eyes. But I just found like halfway through the day, they couldn't call lunch fast enough.
Every time the phone rang, I was like, is there a COVID incident? Is somebody sick? Is what's going on, right? Are we going to have to shut down? We also made both films without the federal backstop. So there's no COVID insurance, as we call it. And so there's an exclusion for communicable diseases with our production insurance. And we made both of these films without any kind of backstop from the federal government. And so the onus and the stress of saying, if there is a shutdown, the cost comes directly back to us as producers and the cost comes out of the production. And so the ongoing stress for that was a lot.
One of the things that didn't go away during the pandemic, beginnings of it and the lockdowns and the lockdown now, is the need for entertainment. It's the need for something to watch and for content, certainly Indigenous content. We want to watch our voices on our screen, so we needed to be able to get back to work. In Ontario alone, and I'm not sure what the numbers are for the rest of the country, but off the top of my head, I know that there are 30,000 people that work directly in servicing the entertainment industry, and these are skilled people. These are people that you can't just pick these people up off the street. Being able to get these people back to work is a big deal.
So when you're shooting in Toronto and the rising numbers out, is astronomical. Or do we go, come up here to Northern Ontario to make films? But even when we're doing that, as an example, I can't get all my actors here. And so if I'm bringing actors up from Toronto on a weekly basis to be on screen, now am I putting my community here in Northern Ontario at risk by bringing in these people from other regions that are at higher risk?